What I wanted to talk to you today is a couple of things. First of all, a better world. So when we look at why we invest into Cleantech, the reasons behind that, a lot of this is based out of needs that happen through requirements for sustainability, development of energy, resources, scarcity, and so on. And at Autodesk, we have put this into our mission to create a better world. And how do we do this? We do this through the impact that our customers can have through the products that they create. I'll give you a quick overview of this, and I'd like to show a quick movie. So if you can run the first movie, please. So over the next 25 minutes, I would like to talk to you about 4 different trends in innovation that we see that has an impact on how engineers, architects, designers create the world, and also has an impact on the opportunities that are there for clean technology innovators and startups. I will tell you a little bit about how Autodesk is actually supporting the clean tech community and innovators and entrepreneurs. Very quickly, Autodesk is a 6,000 people strong company. We have a market cap of 7 billion, 7.5 billion. So we make 3D software for engineers, for architects, for entertainment designers, and really for anybody who's creating something that is being built on this planet. Because we are a developer of software, we are relatively a light carbon footprint company. In comparison to many Fortune 1000 companies, our environment footprint is relatively minimal. So when we look at where we can have an impact on sustainability and as well as in clean tech, we look to our customers, we look outside the companies. So if our customers use our 100+ products, they can create products that ranges from cars, from small chips to really large places like buildings and cities. And these ones, through these millions of users, has an impact on really everybody else. And that's where we have the biggest opportunity to actually create an impact. So clean tech and sustainability itself is always a design challenge. The reason why I say this is because we know that 80% of the environmental impact of a product is determined in the design phase. So the choices that an engineer makes right at the beginning of creating a product has the most impact of that product's environmental impact later on, when it's being used by the consumer or when it's being used by organizations. So this is where this is really important for us. So we make software for people who create films and movies. So James Cameron's vision became reality through Autodesk software in the movie Avatar, for example. We also make software that helps people to create the built environment. So that could be buildings, houses, infrastructures, cities. The people who designed the Shanghai Tower, you can see here that image from Pudong. We also give tools to people who design day-to-day things that we use, products that we use on a day-to-day basis, from mobile phones to cars. And increasingly, companies around the world are feeling a pressure of becoming more sustainable because the consumers are asking for it, because policies ask for it. And generally, we want to provide these tools, as I said earlier, to make that work. So innovation is the key aspect here. There are a number of different things. Innovation does not mean invention or a mathematical approach or so. Innovation really means, for us, predominantly to making things better. There is the opportunity that innovation can really make a big difference. And you've seen from Mark, there's been a couple of trends. 4 trends that we recognize and how innovation is changing have a tremendous impact and also provide opportunity for clean tech entrepreneurs around the world. Trend number 1, we'll call it business unusual. So everything that we know on how business traditional has been done is changing. Why? Because the power of the cloud and the power of the crowd. So the opportunity now to change how the economics of traditional businesses work are tremendous. I'll give you a little example. For over 10 years, scientists have been trying to figure out a specific enzyme problem in the HIV virus to build an anti-AIDS drug. The Puzzle website, Folded, posted this challenge on the website, and in September last year, it took the community of players on this website a couple of days to solve that problem. So it's a whole group of a community that used this tool to essentially solve the scientific problem. The website Folded actually positioned itself as a scientific puzzle place. The other thing that we see is that innovation happens not just downstream, but also upstream. A lot of innovators these days can innovate faster, not only because they can, but because also they have to. And very often they also build strategic partnerships. The strategic partnerships that happen these days much more easier because of our interconnected world than it was many, many years ago. Tesla is an example through the strategic partnerships of the Department of Energy, Toyota and Autodesk. They create and have the vision to enhance electric mobility using Autodesk tools to design this Model S, which just got released end of June. The second trend we see is digital fabrication. And I like to call it Industrial Revolution 2.0. Because the concept of industrial revolution, where you need massive amounts of workforce to make massive amounts of products all the same in order to strike a profit and be able to sell it, has changed. Now you can use 3D printers at affordable prices to build products at small quantities, at great quality, and moderate prices. That is a tremendous important change. And the technologies come in various formats. So you have today a choice of which products of 3D printers you can use. And there is really a variety of different types of materials and products that can be created. Anything from simply rubber. So as a manufacturer of products where rubber is important, you can go and simulate this now much easier. Plastics is coming. So flexible plastics becomes an important part, even metal. And one of our customers who is part of our Autodesk Cleantech Partner Program, Core Ecology, they actually printed an entire car, a hybrid vehicle that has a 200 miles per gallon capability. And they used our tools as well in combination with 3D printing to innovate and develop a car and make the right choices for materials and processes and mechanics to make this car a reality. Here's another interesting example where digital fabrication actually moves beyond the visual field. The Wyss Institute of Harvard actually used Autodesk software to construct a nanorobot based on DNA that has the purpose of capturing cancer cells and killing them, essentially destroying cancer cells. This is, as the press release from February 2012 this year, so quite recent. And this is a very interesting approach where software technology is able to develop products that we simply couldn't do before. Trend number 3 is infinite computing. We essentially have a wrong concept of computing up to very recently. Because our image really was like this. This was our image of computing, a scarce, precious resource. That has changed. Computing is no longer scarce and precious. It has become almost infinite. The mobile phone that you hold in your hands has 30,000 times the computing power that was on board when the space shuttle launched. So that is just a tremendous amount of computing power that has changed over the last, in a very short amount of time. Even the computing power in your smartphone is stronger and is more powerful than computing power over the last maybe 10 years ever existed entirely on the entire planet. So the exponential growth of computing power gives a great opportunity. The other thing is computing power actually becomes cheaper and cheaper, almost to the point where it becomes free. While all the other resources that we have on the planet, whether that's human resources, oil, and raw materials, increases in price. Now this is, I think, where it becomes really interesting, because you heard much about cloud computing. Imagine as a Cleantech innovator, you're facing a problem of simulating a mechanical or complex device. And that simulation would take your computing unit that you have, your desktop computer, 10,000 seconds to simulate and to find the best combination of costs, material, strength, restrictions, and so on. So 10,000 seconds is about 3 hours. Now over the cloud, if you actually use the cloud to simulate this, you could use 10,000 computing units at 1 second at the same price just to do the same simulation. So this is tremendous amounts of opportunity there. You can visualize through renderings of your digital product very quickly by using and simulate and optimize these products over the cloud, something that you could have not done a couple of years ago. In speeding this up, it gives innovators the opportunities to make better products. Then trend number 4 is prototyping for the future, or digital prototyping. So digital prototyping is an important part already today in many companies. So if you want to make a car more aerodynamic in order to be or to be more fuel efficient, you would go and use digital computers, digital software to simulate the aerodynamic flow and reduce it accordingly. The same thing with buildings. You can now simulate energy efficiency of buildings way before the building is actually created, in the design phase. You can take a building and literally sort of just change the angle of how it faces the sun based on its location on the planet. You know where the sun is, you can position the solar panels in order to get the most mileage out of your solar panels. So there's a lot you can already do through digital prototyping. And I have a couple of examples. This is important because it's important for Cleantech innovators as well. Here's an opportunity to simulate and to innovate without using costly physical prototypes. And I'd like to show the next movie, please. So what you've seen is what's possible today. If you would have shown this 10 years ago, it would have looked like Star Trek science fiction movie to some extent. So the possibilities are quite tremendous, and I'd like to give you a couple of examples of customers in the Cleantech space that we are supporting with software. The first example here is Green Ocean Energy, which is a Scottish firm that makes devices to harness the power of waves. Now, it's a startup firm. This image here shows what this device looks like. It's 300 tons heavy, 50 meters tall, 300 tons heavy. So how could you possibly create, as a startup, a physical prototype of a place, of a device like this? It's just not possible. You can't do this. Right? You make one prototype and you screw it up. You have the wrong configuration and you're out of business. So here's an opportunity where companies like Cleantech entrepreneurs can use this software to simulate their products and at the same time go and use this as a way of pitching it to investors like you. Another example is a Swedish company called Hexicon. They are also part of our Cleantech Partner Program. Similar situation. This is a Hexicon floating wind farm. 6 towers, 480 meters wide, and they create enough energy, so they're actually working right now with the government of Malta to cover 10% of energy consumption of Malta using these wind farms. And it's the same situation. This is something that you can optimize digitally much better, much easier, and make design decisions, mature design decisions, educated design decisions before you actually go and put something into production. An Israeli company called Hydroscreen making small size hydro energy devices that sits in pipes to power sensors that measure the flow of water as well as the quality of water. Again, here was the opportunity to use Autodesk software to simulate on how these products work and optimize them before actually creating a first physical prototype. And Green Structures out of UK, who devised a way of replacing stale air in buildings and replenishing it with fresh air at room temperature without using any energy. So again, they were using, and you can see here a screenshot of simulating airflow that actually helped them to optimize the shape of this product. Green Structure is also a member of our Cleantech Partner Program. And then Hydrovolts and Bert is in the room here, and they have a little stand here. So Hydrovolts building hydrokinetic turbines that are meant for small little rivers and canals to build energy, and he is here to see what the opportunities are in Asia for this. Again, Hydrovolts is also our Cleantech Partner Program, in part of the Cleantech Partner Program that we're supporting. So there are hundreds actually of other examples of companies, entrepreneurs, and startups that have joined the Autodesk Cleantech Partner Program. We have the program also running in Asia Pacific, in Japan, as well as here in Singapore. As a matter of fact, actually, we have Vincent here from BioMachines, which is our latest addition to Singapore, Cleantech, to the Cleantech Partner Program. They make environmental sensors and really and a platform to become a leader in that field. So the Cleantech Partner Program, very quickly, I want to explain this a little bit more what this is. We understand that digital prototyping is a tremendous important opportunity and a tremendous tool for companies to simulate, visualize, create, and imagine their designs. Now, we are investing millions of dollars every year to provide software to Cleantech startups. So the Cleantech Partner Program works like this. It enables startup firms to apply to join this program for $50. In Singapore and US, it's $50. And give them the opportunity to receive up to $150,000 worth of software that enables these companies to build their best products, to use these images to pitch the products to investors and make them a reality. And with that, I just want to close. So, as I said, Autodesk, we're really looking into making a better world. We want to give our customers the tools that empower them to design, imagine, and create a better world. If you're interested in this program specifically for Cleantech and startups, be happy to answer this. We also have staff here on the floor here and as well as in the exhibit. Please come and visit us. Thank you.